determination of total hardness of water before and after ion exchange process. So we'll discuss today's experiment is this. Okay. So first we'll go through overall this one, how many experiments are there. Okay. Then after this we have second experiment, that is determination of percentage of copper in brass using standard sodium thiosulfate solution. Okay, this is also the volumetric experiment. Next, third experiment is determination of percentage of iron in given mild steel sample. Okay, mild steel sample will be given, you have to determine the percentage of iron in that. Then we have next experiment, determination of chloride and total alkalinity of water. Okay, what is the percentage of what is the content of chloride and alkalinity in water? That's the fourth experiment that you have to determine. Okay, I'll discuss in detail whenever we'll be discussing chloride content and total alkalinity of water experiment. Okay, then we have study of adsorption isotherms. Okay, acetic acid on activated charcoal. Okay, validity of Freundlich adsorption isotherms. Okay, this is another experiment, 5 volumetric experiments. Okay, then start with the instrumental experiment, flame photometry. I think I studied in PUC level, different colored flames. Based on that color of the flame, you can tell what is the metal present. Okay, flame test. Similar to that, we have flame photometry. We can even determine the concentration of the metal ions in the water or in aqueous sample. That is for demonstration, flame photometry. Okay, and the first experiment in instrumental is potentiometry. Potentiometry that you have to perform, potentiometric estimation of ferrous ammonium sulfate (FAS) using standard potassium dichromate solution. Right. So we'll discuss theory and all those things in the class in the lab. Okay. The second experiment is colorimetric estimation of copper. Estimation of copper by colorimetric method. I'll discuss what is colorimetry and all. Third experiment is conductometry. Okay, conductometric estimation of an acid mixture using standard NaOH solution. And A should be small here. Okay, NaOH solution. Then next experiment is determination of molecular weight of a polymer. Okay, determination of molecular weight of a polymer, especially the polystyrene we give using Ostwald's viscometer. So based on viscosity, we tell the molecular weight of polymer. Okay, that's it. So we have 10 experiments, 5 volumetric experiments, 5 instrumental experiments. So we'll start with the first one, determination of hardness of water before and after ion exchange process. All right. What is the ion exchange process? Ion exchangers, okay, usually polystyrene or divinyl benzene cross-linked polymers with exchangeable ions. So if the water is hard water, we have to remove the salts. You know what is hardness of water? Anyone? Hardness of water?
The water that does not get lather with the soap.
Who is this? Who has given the answer?
Kritika.
Sorry?
Kritika.
Ah, Kritika. Okay, good. Anybody else? What is hardness of water?
Sir, which has presence of dissolved salt in it?
Which salts?
Sir, calcium,
Calcium and
magnesium.
magnesium. Very good. What is your name?
Kaustubh, sir.
Huh?
Kaustubh.
Kaustubh. Kaustubh. Very good. Okay.
The salts contain
Yes.
carbonates and sulfates.
Carbonates, sulfates. Okay. Okay, good. Right. So different types of hardness. Okay, temporary hardness and permanent hardness. Who is this?
Archana, sir.
Okay, good. So here hardness means it is a characteristic property of water which prevents lather formation with soap solution. Okay, why it doesn't form lather? Because what is a what is soap? Sodium and potassium salts of higher fatty acids are known as soaps. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if you remove the sodium and potassium salts and replace them with calcium or magnesium ions, okay, they are not soluble anymore. So instead of that foam, you get what? The precipitate, white precipitate. Okay, you might have observed, okay, with hard water your dresses will not be that clean, clothes will not be that clean. Okay, because it doesn't allow the formation of foam. Okay, it forms precipitate. Calcium and magnesium salts of soap are insoluble in water and they form precipitates. Instead of foam, you get precipitate. Okay, and hard water, if you taste it, you have your feeling of hardness, right? Hard water, the borewell water and all. Okay, there is a difference between soft water and hard water. Whatever the water we drink, the corporation water, whatever we drink, it is hard water or soft water?
Soft water, sir.
It is, we call it as soft water because the hardness is less than 75 ppm. What is the hardness? Less than 75 ppm of calcium carbonate equivalence. I'll discuss why we take calcium carbonate equivalence. Okay, hardness is expressed in terms of calcium carbonate equivalence. Okay, I'll discuss why it is right expressed in terms of calcium carbonate. Okay, if the hardness is less than 75 ppm, we call that water as
Soft water.
soft water. Okay, in rainy season, during rainy season, hardness of water increases or decreases? What happens to the hardness of water? Surface water and all. Okay, river water, well water. What happens to the hardness of water during rainy season when it rains?
Sir, becomes soft.
It becomes soft, it decreases because you are adding distilled water, pure water. Okay, we are not adding the clouds, they add pure water to the water resources. So what happens to the concentration of calcium and magnesium ions? They decrease. They decrease. So once they decrease, the hardness decreases. Okay, tell me what is the hardness of distilled water? No, anyone?
0.
0. Yes, it's almost 0. Okay, maybe small quantity, maybe contaminants may be there, but it's almost 0. Its conductivity is almost 0. Distilled water conducts electricity or not?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, for that you can do an experiment. Okay, take a beaker, put 2 nails and pass the electricity. It will not pass through any load. Okay, you can see, okay, light glowing, right. It will not glow. The lights will not glow because if you put that this one through water. Okay, when you add some salts in that, it glows. Okay, ions conduct electricity. If there are no ions, the water will not conduct electricity. So distilled water doesn't contain any ions. Okay, the calcium and magnesium ions. Of course, distilled water is slightly acidic because when we breathe out, we are breathing out carbon dioxide, and that dissolves in water, forming what? Carbonic acid. Okay. pH. What is the pH of distilled water? It is 5.5, not 7. Okay. Why? When we breathe out in the atmosphere, carbon dioxide is there. It dissolves in water, and when it dissolves, it forms H2CO3, carbonic acid. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Distilled water pH should be 7 actually, but what happens? Presence when you expose it to the environment, the carbon dioxide dissolves and it forms carbonic acid. Carbonic acid, where you have used? Carbonic acid. Carbon dioxide dissolves completely in water, right? Under pressure.
Yes, sir.
Yes, because right when you drink soda, right? Pepsi, Cola, or something, all these soft drinks, okay, they are carbonated. Okay, you always keep your palm on the right mouth of that bottle, right? Why you keep your palm on the mouth of the bottle?
So if we remove our hand, the carbon dioxide tries to come out of the bottle.
It will come out, okay, and afterwards if you drink, you are drinking simply the water and sugar. There is no carbon dioxide.
So,
Yes.
so if distilled water is not exposed to air, then its pH will be 7 only, sir.
Sure, yes, it should be 7. But when you prepare distilled water, it is exposed to environment, no? Otherwise, you have to keep it in the sealed bottle. But what happens while preparing? Only it dissolves. Under inert atmosphere, you have to prepare them. Okay, nitrogen or helium atmosphere, you have to create. Okay, but what happens? Carbon dioxide is there in the environment, it dissolves. Oxygen also dissolves.
Sir, it has dissolved means why it will not conduct electricity, sir?
Sorry?
If ions are dissolved means why it will not conduct electricity, sir?
It will conduct electricity, but it is to very minute. I told no, it is not zero. It's micro Simons, we say, conductivity. Okay, some conductivity will be there, but practically it is zero.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you can do one experiment. Take a beaker. Okay, put 2 nails and add distilled water and pass the DC current. Okay, and call me. I'll put my finger in between. Okay, then I'll take it out. I'll ask you to put your finger. Then I'll add some salt in that.
Nice idea, sir.
You get a shock, right?
Yes, sir.
So means the ions are less initially. Okay, less ions means maybe you will not
Yes,
get a
sir.
shock. Yes. Any questions? That was a good question, right? Okay. I was discussing. So hardness is the characteristic property of water which prevents lather formation with soap solution. It is because of the divalent cations. Like what are those the divalent cations? Calcium and magnesium ions. Okay. So bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium are soluble in water. Okay, and they cause temporary hardness. Bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium, they cause temporary hardness. Okay, and sulfates, chlorides, okay, acetate and other things, they cause permanent hardness. Okay, sulfates and chlorides usually they cause permanent hardness. Sulfates and chlorides of calcium and magnesium. Okay, why I call the permanent hardness and temporary hardness? Permanent hardness means even if you boil it, okay, once you boil the water, the permanent hardness, it will not change. Okay, hardness will remain. Okay, because if you boil it, water will go out. The concentration of calcium and magnesium ion, that concentration builds up. Okay, even hardness also increases. Okay, but whereas temporary hardness, if you boil the water, what happens? The calcium bicarbonate becomes calcium carbonate and use water. And right, HCO3 twice. Okay, becomes CaCO3 plus H2O plus CO2. Okay, So what happens? The hardness decreases because calcium carbonate is insoluble in water. It's almost insoluble in water. Okay, if you give me a glass of water, I can tell that that bottle doesn't contain calcium carbonate. Okay, can you quickly tell me what is the molecular weight of calcium carbonate? Anyone? Calcium 40, carbon 12, oxygen 16. Atomic weights are given. Calculate and tell me what is the molecular weight of calcium carbonate. Calcium 40, oxygen 16, carbon 12. Atomic numbers are given. Atomic weights are given. What is the molecular weight?
100.
100. Very good. Who is this?
Archana.
Archana. Very good. Very good. Fast. Okay. It's calcium carbonate, I told. Okay. If the hardness is less than 75 ppm of calcium carbonate equivalent, then we call it as soft water, right? I told what is that calcium carbonate equivalence. Calcium carbonate is taken as standard because it is not present in water, because it's most insoluble salt, and its molecular weight is 100. Calculations become easier. Okay, why calcium carbonate is why hardness is expressed in terms of calcium carbonate equivalence? Anyone? Its molecular weight is 100 and it is insoluble salt. Okay, it's not present in water. That's the reason we can express other compounds in terms of calcium carbonate equivalence. Okay, other calculation becomes easier. Okay, that's why hardness is expressed in terms of calcium carbonate equivalence. Okay, I'll give one more example. Take 1 liter of distilled water, add 75 ppm of calcium carbonate, add 75 ppm of sodium carbonate, okay, to that 1 liter of distilled water. What is the hardness? Anyone with applied mind?
Can you repeat it?
Take 1 liter of distilled water, add 75 milligram of calcium carbonate. Okay, milligram per liter is nothing but ppm. You remember, any substance, milligram of substance dissolved in 1 liter is that ppm. Okay, you remember, ppm is milligram per liter. Okay, 1 milligram per liter is equal to 1 ppm, parts per million. Okay, so I am taking 1 liter of distilled water. I am adding 75 milligram of calcium carbonate, 5 milligram of sodium carbonate, and I am asking you what is the hardness of that water?
150.
75.
Try 75. Somebody told 150. Somebody told. I want somebody with applied mindset. I am taking 1 liter of distilled water. I am adding 75 milligram of calcium carbonate, 75 milligram of sodium carbonate. What is the hardness?
75, sir.
75. Anybody else? Give a guess at least. Try to answer. Yes, Omkar, Gilbert, Samiksha, Shreya. The question is very simple. To 1 liter of distilled water, I am adding 75 milligram of calcium carbonate, 75 milligram of sodium carbonate. What is the hardness of that water? And you know, hardness is caused because of calcium and magnesium ions. And calcium carbonate is most insoluble salt. Now tell me. Yes, Archana. Nobody. I have given the answer actually. Sodium carbonate is not hardness.
75.
Okay.
75.
Calcium carbonate is insoluble in water. If you put, it will settle at the bottom. What is the hardness?
75.
75, sir.
Zero.
Zeros.
Distilled water doesn't contain any hardness. You are adding calcium carbonate. I told calcium carbonate is insoluble in water. It is not. It will not dissolve. It will settle at the bottom.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Sodium carbonate is not hardness causing ion. What is the hardness? Zero.
Yes, sir.
I'll take 75 ppm hardness water, 1 liter water. Okay, which contains calcium bicarbonate. What it contains?
Calcium bicarbonate.
Calcium carbonate. I'll take that 1 liter of 75 ppm calcium bicarbonate containing water. Okay, hardness is totally because of calcium bicarbonate. Okay, whatever the ions present, it is calcium bicarbonate. I'll boil it for half an hour and I'll measure the hardness. What should be the hardness of that water?
Zeros.
Zero. Very good. Who is this?
Archanas.
Very good. Very good. Zero, because calcium bicarbonate is temporary hardness. Okay, once you boil it, it settles as calcium carbonate. Okay, and gives out water. So hardness becomes zero. Okay, so 0 to 75 ppm hardness, we call it as soft water. Okay, whatever the water we drink from corporation water, it is soft water. Okay, during the rainy season, the hardness may go up to 30 ppm. In the summer season, the hardness may go up to 75 ppm. Whatever the water we drink, corporation water, it is this much only. Okay, at home you may be having AquaGuards,
Yes, sir.
reverse osmosis purifiers.
Yes, sir.
Anybody has got?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you got. So check the hardness of that water first. Okay, what is happening is many people don't know. If you remove all the hardness, the water, right? Water is pure water, so it dissolves all the salts from the body. If you are thirsty, if you drink that pure water, what will happen? There are no salts. It takes all the salts from your body. It's very fatal, dangerous. Okay, in villages, till today, they give some jaggery or salt before they give the water. The reason is the hardness is required for us, our body. Okay, otherwise, if you drink pure water, it takes everything. Okay, right? Salts are required, right? Is that clear to you? So
Yes, sir.
0 to 75
Yes,
ppm. So just if you have that purifiers, that RO filters and all, RO filters and all, if you have, so just check what is the TDS of that.
Sir, a few people are still waiting to join in.
Have they joined? Ask them to join again. Ask them to join. Just respond if they have joined already. Yes. Joined? We'll continue. Harish, tell me what is the problem? Okay, we'll continue the this one class.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So 75 ppm to 150 ppm, we call it as moderately hard water. Okay, if the hardness of the water is 75 to 150 ppm, most of your well water is up to 150 ppm. Okay, 150 to 300 ppm. Okay, we call it as hard water. Still we can drink. Okay, borewell water. Okay, up to 300 ppm. Above 300 ppm, you can drink, but it will not be that tasty. We call it as very hard water. Okay, 0 to 75. 0 to 75,
Soft water.
soft water. ppm. Soft water. Okay. 75 to 150 ppm. That's
Hard water.
moderately hard water. Then 150 to 300 ppm is hard water. Above 300 ppm, it is very hard water. Usually we don't drink. Okay, if you don't have any other choice, then you can drink very hard water. Otherwise, we avoid drinking this very hard water. Okay. If the hardness is too much, then we go for this ion exchange process. What is that process? Ion exchange process. Okay. Okay. What are the ion exchangers? Cation exchangers, they exchange cations. Anion exchangers, they exchange anions. Okay. What happens? This is the resin. Okay. On that resin, say H plus ions are there. When calcium ions come, and when they come in contact with this ion, this resin, okay, calcium ions sit on the resin, the H plus ions come into the solution. What happens to the concentration of calcium ion in the solution? Calcium ions and magnesium ions are there in water. Okay,
This is, sir.
resins are there. Okay, resins are like this. Okay, you can see here. These are the resins. Okay, they will be like this. Okay, small, right? You can see, right? These are resins. Okay, so they contain exchangeable ions. Okay, so if exchangeable ion is cation, cation exchange resin we call. Okay, so for example, calcium ions, they interact with the H plus ions. Then calcium ions sit on the resin and H plus ions go into the solution. Okay, is that clear to you? So this exchange process, what happens to the pH of the solution? What
Acidic.
happens? Decreases. Very good. pH decreases because H plus ions you are adding. So pH decreases. Okay. And when they right, this is first chamber. Okay. Usually ion exchange column contains two chambers. One is cation exchange chamber. Okay. Then it is sent to anion exchange chamber. Okay. This is anion exchange chamber. This is cation exchange chamber. So whatever the water you are getting here in the first, this one, it is acidic. So when they come here, sulfate ions, anion exchange resin, it exchanges the anions, sulfate ions or chloride ions, and resin contains the replaceable OH minus ions. Okay, so these OH minus ions are replaced by sulfate ions. Okay, two OH minus ions, they are replaced by sulfate ions. You get on the resin SO4 minus 2 will sit, and OH minus ions they come into the solution. Okay, I can write 2 here. Okay, 2H. Okay, so these 2H plus ions, acidic ions, and the OH minus ions produced, they combine together to form again water. And sulfate ions, they sit on the resin. Calcium ions, they sit on the resin. The calcium or magnesium ions may be there. Okay, right. They will be replaced with the hydrogen ions. So what happens to the hardness of the water? Decreases. Okay, ionization process is water softening process. We use polystyrene chain, okay, divinyl benzene cross-linking agent. Okay, right. So strong acidic sulfonated polystyrene cation action resin. This is sulfonated polystyrene. Basic quaternary ammonium ions. Quaternary ammonium ions, they can hold OH minus ions, replaceable OH minus ions. They exchange OH minus ions with the chloride ions of water or sulfate ions of water, and they remove the hardness. The permanent hardness can be removed by ion exchange process. Okay, mere boiling you cannot remove, but by this process you can remove the hardness. Okay, hard water becomes soft water. Okay, so what are ion exchange resins? Ion exchange resins are capable of exchanging ions present in solutions coming in contact with them. What are the types? Cation exchange resins and anion exchange resins. Okay, if the ion exchange resin is capable of exchanging cations, then it is called cation exchange resin. If the ion exchange resin is capable of exchanging anions, then it is called anion exchange resin. Okay, you can see here the cation exchange resin. Okay, you can see here, right? RH, 2RH plus. Okay, so that interacts with magnesium ions. Magnesium ions sit on the resin. Magnesium ions sit on the resin, whereas H plus ions come out of the resin and go into the solution. So solution becomes acidic. Okay. Similarly, even you can see here calcium ions are already told. Okay. So it can replace calcium and magnesium ions. Okay. So regeneration. After some time, what happens? All the sites of the ion exchange resins are replaced with calcium ions. Okay, no H plus ions left. So it cannot exchange H plus ions with calcium ions. Okay, that time you need to regenerate the resins. How we do? We pass concentrated HCl or HNO3 solution or dilute HCl. Okay, dilute HCl and HNO3. 1 molar usually we use. Okay. Right, what happens? We wash it several times, passing HCl or any HNO3. So what happens? All cations sitting on the resin, they'll come out as calcium or magnesium, and again the resin is regenerated with H plus ions. H plus ions are regenerated on the resin. Again, you can use it for further ionization process. Okay. Similarly, you can do ionization resin also. Okay, but cation resins, they reduce the hardness. Anion resins replace only the anions. Okay. So determination of total hardness by EDTA method. Okay. So now we will come to what is the method used for this experiment. Okay, I think I have already shared a video. Okay, we have prepared all the 10 videos of all the experiments. Okay, I will be sharing whenever I will be discussing that particular experiment. Okay. So determination of hardness by EDTA method. EDTA means ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. What is the long form of EDTA? Ethylene CH2 double bond CH2. What is that? CH2 double bond,
Ethylene.
ethylene or ethene. Okay, ethylene. Okay, here that double bond, you can see this is a structure. So that double bond is broken and one bond is formed with this, another bond is formed with this. Okay, diamine, two amine means NH and group. Okay, tetra acetic acid. There is no NH. Acetic acid groups are there. 4 acetic acid groups. Tetra acetic acid. We call it as EDTA. But we are not using EDTA itself. We use what? We use disodium salt. Of EDTA. See here, this H is replaced by Na, another H is replaced by Na. Okay, disodium salt. You may ask me a question here. Why disodium salt of EDTA is used for the experiment? Why not EDTA itself? Yes, EDTA itself is insoluble in water. It's sparingly soluble in water. So you cannot prepare solution directly with EDTA. That is the reason we go for disodium salt of EDTA. And one more thing is these two sodium atoms during that during the titration, you can easily replace these two sodium atoms by one calcium atom. It's anyway divalent. One calcium ion can sit here. Okay, so that's the reason we go for disodium salt of EDTA. What is they may ask you in the examination. Okay, Viva question. What is the role of why we use disodium salt of EDTA instead of EDTA itself? EDTA is very soluble in water and disodium salt of EDTA is soluble in water. And disodium salt can be easily replaced with calcium ions. Okay, we want to determine how many calcium ions and how many magnesium ions are there in water. That's our experiment. Determination of hardness means we want to determine calcium and magnesium ions. How we determine? We use EDTA method. Okay, what we do here, we take a burette. We call it as column here, ion exchange column. We fill it with ion exchanger. Okay, and we pass the hard water through that ion exchange resin. Water we get is soft water. Before passing through that ion exchange resin, we take the hardness of that and we measure the hardness of after passing through the ion exchange resin. That is your experiment. Okay, you have to determine the hardness before and after ion exchange process, whether we get soft water or not. That's our experiment. Is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is EDTA, or it's also known as complexometric titration. What kind of titration it is?
Complexometric.
Titration. Okay. EDTA is a complexing agent or chelating agent. Okay. Used to capture the metal ions. Okay. This causes the water to become softened. Okay. But the metal ions are not removed from the water. Okay. Right. Anyway, we want to capture all the calcium ions here. Okay. In the determination of hardness experiment. Okay. Whatever metal ion I have written here, metal ion, it may be calcium ion or magnesium ion. Okay. So what is the indicator used here is Erichrome black tea indicator. Aerochrome black tea indicator. The name is black, right? But it is not black. What is the color of the indicator? This is the color of the indicator. Clear blue. What is the color of the indicator?
Blue.
Blue.
Color of the indicator is blue. Color of the indicator or the Aerochrome black tea is blue. You remember this. Okay. So what we do, we pipette out say 25 ml of pipetting out. You know pipette. You are
Yes, sir.
verbal with this one. What is burette? What is pipette? What is conical flask?
Yes, sir.
Standard flask. Okay. I'll show you here. I think I have. Right. What is this here?
Round bottom flask.
Round bottom flask. Okay. What is this?
Conical flask.
Conical flask.
Conical flask. Or it's also known as Erlenmeyer flask. What is this flask? Erlenmeyer or conical flask. Erlenmeyer, now scientist who discovered this. Earlier it was very difficult for titration. Earlier people used to use beakers for titration. When you shake it, all the contents used to come out. He discovered conical flask. If you shake it, when you do titration, the contents will not come out. That was the biggest invention in those days. Okay, right? Simple, but it's very innovative, right? And what is this? Okay, I'll just draw one. Okay, it is not there. Conical flask kind of thing, but it has got long neck with a stopper, and there is a mark over here. Say 250 ml mark is there. Okay, what is this flask? Similar to conical flask, it's a little bit long necked. Have you used this? Anyone?
No, sir.
This we call it as volumetric flask. Volumetric flask, or it's also known as standard flask. Okay.
Okay, sir.
250 ml standard flask. Lower meniscus touching the circular mark. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's volumetric flask. Okay. You might have seen this kind of. Graduations on this. Cylinder.
Yes, sir.
Right? This is
Yes.
measuring cylinder. Okay. What is this?
Burette.
Burette. Okay, graduations are there. It's a burette. Okay. And what is this?
Pipette.
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 Okay, you know all these things, right? It's a pipette. Okay, there is a circular mark over here. All right, so you know all these things. Okay, pipette, burette, conical flask. Right.
Yes, sir.
So what is the color of the indicator here?
Blue.
Blue.
Blue. Okay. When I pipette out 25 cc of hard water sample. What I'll do? I'll pipette out the water sample which is from your well or from your bore well. Okay. We'll collect the water sample and we have to pipette out 25 cc of that sample into a conical flask, clean conical flask. Okay. To that, I'm adding 5 ml of buffer solution. What is buffer?
Which maintains the same pH.
Yes, what is that buffer solution?
It maintains the pH of the solution constant.
Yes, it maintains the pH of the solution. It resists the change in pH upon addition of small amount of base or acid. Right? Even if you add small amount of acid, it will not change its pH. Even if you add small amount of base to it, it will not change its pH. Can you give me one good example for buffer solution? The buffer solution we are using is ammonium chloride and ammonium hydroxide. Okay, it's buffer. Okay, it's a buffer we are using in this experiment. Okay, can you give me another example of buffer solution, biological buffer?
Blood vessel.
Yes. Yes. Maybe wrong, maybe right, doesn't matter. Just give me the answer.
Hemoglobin.
Hemoglobin, or you can say the blood itself, right? Blood is a very good example for buffer. What is the pH of blood? Anyone knows what is the pH of blood?
7.
Slightly alkaline.
7.3.
Yes. 7.2.
7.3. 7.3.
7.3. Okay. Who? Anybody else? In that range only. 7.3, 7.4, 7.2. Okay. Plus or minus. Okay. pH will be in that range precisely. Okay. You may ask me. Okay. You drink, Pepsi, Cola. Okay. What is the pH? 2, around 2, 2.5. Right? Acidic pH. Right. You drink. Okay. You eat, bitter gourds. pH is above 9. But pH of the blood will not change. If pH of the blood changes, means that person is no more. Okay. Why it is pH? How blood maintains the pH? Anyone knows?
No, sir.
See, what we do, we breathe in what? Oxygen. Oxygen is supplied to all the cells. While coming back, the blood brings, what is that? The hemoglobin. Okay, it forms carboxyhemoglobin complex, that carbon dioxide it brings out, right? Brings back carbon dioxide. Okay, carbon dioxide dissolves in water under pressure, right? Anyway, we have blood pressure, it dissolves. Okay, what it forms? Carbonic acid. And we eat sodium salts. Sodium salts are there in the blood. It forms sodium carbonate, sodium bicarbonate. Sodium carbonate and sodium bicarbonate is the buffer that is used in our body. Got it? So if you are not breathing, if you hold your breath, the pH varies there for a long time. It is because of that carbon dioxide concentration builds up. Okay, pH varies automatically, right? So as long as, yes, any questions?
No, sir.
So just I'm giving you an example of buffer. Okay, so here we are using ammonium chloride and ammonium hydroxide buffer, whose pH is around 10. Okay, why we maintain 10 pH? Because erythrochrome black tea, this indicator, reacts with calcium and magnesium ions. Okay, it reacts with calcium and magnesium ions and it forms an unstable complex. The color of the complex is wine red. Okay, this color. Here you can see the in conical flask, wine red color. Okay, right. So, this color we get. Okay, when you add erythrochrome black tea indicator to 25 cc of hard water sample and around 5 ml of buffer solution, then you, if you add a pinch, a small, very small amount of erythrochrome black tea indicator, you get this wine red color. Okay, titrate this against standard EDTA solution, which you have prepared already. Which you have prepared. What you have to do? You have to take 0.8 to 1 gram of disodium salt of EDTA. Why we take disodium salt of EDTA?
It is
So
more
because
soluble.
EDTA is
Yeah, it is soluble in water, and also sodium ions can be easily replaced with calcium or magnesium ions. Okay. So when you titrate, okay, and this metal erythrochrome black tea indicator complex, which is wine red color complex, when you titrate against standard EDTA solution, disodium salt of EDTA. EDTA is a strong compressing agent. Okay, so when you add EDTA to the solution, first it reacts unreacted calcium and magnesium ions, then it has a capacity to displace this metal from erythrochrome black tea indicator. So it forms, erythrochrome black tea. Erythrochrome black tea is set free here. Okay, after titration, you get erythrochrome black tea is set free. So metal EDTA complex is formed. Okay, this is a powerful guy. This is a pile one. Okay, EDTA is a pile one, and this erythrochrome person. Okay, so EDTA replaces erythrochrome black tea and forms stable complex with metal ions, and it is colorless complex. What is the color of the complex? It is colorless. Erythrochrome black tea is set free, which is blue in color. And metal EBT complex, what is the color of metal EBT complex?
Wine red.
Wine red. Okay, what is the endpoint you observe here? What is the color of EDTA? It's colorless. Disodium salt of EDTA, it is colorless. Okay, colorless. Okay, what is the color change? Wine red to blue, clear blue. So endpoint you can see here, wine red to clear, clear blue. That's the endpoint. You titrate until you get clear blue solution. Note down the burette reading. From the burette reading, you can calculate how much calcium and magnesium ions are there in the solution. At the endpoint, why you get blue color? At the endpoint, erythrochrome black tea is set free, released. And we know the color of the erythrochrome black tea, which is having
blue.
blue color. That's the reason you get blue color. Why color changes from wine red to clear blue? Anyone answers this question?
Because erythrochrome black tea is set free.
Right. Erythrochrome black tea first forms magnesium ions, which is wine red in color. Okay, at the end, EDTA replaces erythrochrome black tea from the complex, and which is erythrochrome black tea is set free, which is blue in color. So endpoint is wine red to clear blue. Okay. So initially you have to calculate the molarity of EDTA. I'll give this weight. You can note down the weight of EDTA. Write down the weight. 0.80 gram. Weight of EDTA is 0.80 gram into 4. Why I have taken 4? Because I am preparing 250 ml of solution. How much I am preparing? 250 ml. Okay. How come I got 4? If it is 1000, I would have kept as it is. I would have taken 1. Okay. If it is 1000 ml per liter, I would have kept 1. So 1000 divided by 250,
4.
that is 4 here. Okay. And this is, what is this 372.24? It is molecular weight of EDTA, disodium salt of EDTA. Weight divided by molecular weight. Okay. Weight divided by molecular weight in 1 liter of water gives you molarity. Okay. But
Yes, sir.
I am multiplying by 4 because I am preparing 250 ml, not 1000 ml. Is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
sir.
So molarity of EDTA is W.8 into 4 divided by 372.24. Whatever value you get, you write it down in your manual. Manual anyway I have given you. Okay, you can download and take printout and write there itself. Okay, and I'll tell you how to write the journal in the next lab, not today. Okay. So record observation. Okay, Biret levels. I'll give some Biret levels so that you can calculate. Hardness of water before exchange. Okay, final level is 10.7. Initial level was 0. Biret reading. Okay, difference. How much it is? 10.7. Okay, and I have taken one more set readings. Okay, final level was 10.4. Initial was again I set it to 0. Biret reading, and difference is 10.4. Okay, you can just go through the demonstration how to take the readings that they have given. Okay, what we do, we take 25 cc of hard water sample. I have mentioned 5 cc. 5 cc is sufficient. Okay, in the manual they are given 10 cc. You can add 10 cc also. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, what is the role of buffer solution? To maintain the pH. You take 5 cc, 10 cc, 15 cc, doesn't matter. Okay, in the Biret what you have taken? Standard EDTA solution, disodium salt of EDTA it is. Okay, what is the indicator used here? A pinch of aerochrome black P indicator. Okay, color change wine red to clear blue. Okay, you can write the mean value if you want, but right, doesn't matter here. Okay, so do this calculation. Okay, 1000 cc of 1 molar EDTA solution corresponds to 100 gram of calcium carbonate. You can ask me a question here. Why 1000 cc of 1 molar solution of EDTA is equal to 100 gram of calcium carbonate? Anyone knows? Anyone? See, I would have written, see here, just go through here. Thousand cc of 1 molar EDTA solution is equal to, I should have written, is equal to 1000 cc of 1 molar Do you agree with this? Say yes or no, please. Otherwise, I don't understand whether you are following it or not. 1000 cc of 1 molar EDTA is equal to 1000 cc of 1 molar calcium carbonate. Okay, you can write that. What is 1 molar solution? Anyone? Hello?
1 mole is dissolved in 1 liter.
Very good. 1 molecular weight of any substance dissolved in 1 liter is called 1 molar solution. What is 1 normal solution? 1 normal? equivalent of weight of any substance dissolved in 1 liter is one normal solution. Here I have taken molarity. 1000 cc of 1 molar solution means what? It is 1 molecular weight of EDTA.
Yes,
What
sir.
is this? Here I would have written this is nothing but 1 molecular weight of EDTA. Is molecular weight. Okay, because 1 molecular weight of any substance dissolved in 1 liter is 1000 cc. Around is 1 molecular weight. So what is the molecular weight of calcium carbonate? 100 gram. I want it in gram. I don't want it in volume. That's the reason I have written 100 gram of calcium carbonate. I would have written this like this also. But I don't want it in volumes. Okay, I want it in gram. That's the reason I have written only the molecular weight of calcium carbonate. Actually, molecular weight of EDTA is equal to molecular weight of calcium carbonate. That's how we are equating. Okay. Therefore, VCC of X molar EDTA. So you have to multiply by V into X into 100 divided by 1000. Okay, this 1000 you have to divide. 1 cc of 1 molar EDTA is nothing but divided by 1000. I can write 100 divided by 1000 corresponds to what? 1 cc of EDTA. Okay, so this part. But our Biot trading is different. Concentration of EDTA is also different. So I have to multiply that. Okay, so you get Y gram of calcium carbonate. Y gram of calcium carbonate equivalents actually. Okay, per 25 ml. You are putting up 25 ml of water sample. But you have prepared how much? Per liter you have to tell, no? So multiplied by 1000 divided by 25. So per 1 liter. So what do you get? Z gram of calcium carbonate. Okay. So what do you get? 1000 Z gram per liter actually it is. 1 gram per liter is equal to how many milligram per liter? 1 gram means how many milligrams are there in that?
1000.
1000. I have to multiply it by 1000 to get milligram per liter. Right? So that's why I am multiplying again by 1000. So to get milligram per liter, or it is also known as ppm. 1 milligram per liter is equal to how many ppm? 1 ppm. Okay, ppm and milligram per liter are same. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
you can do this calculation. Okay. After ion exchange process, what happens to the hardness?
Decreases.
Decreases.
Decrease, no? So I'll give one more reading, one more set of readings. After ion exchange process, I got 4.8 ml Biot trading. Initial I kept it as 0. The difference is 4.8. Okay. Oh. 0.8 0 4.8. And one more set I have taken 4.6 0 cc. Difference is 4.6. Okay. So you do the calculation. Okay, substitute the values. X, what is X? Molarity you have calculated, and V is 4.8 and 4.6 I have given. Okay. For after the ion exchange process, what is the hardness? Before the ion exchange process, what is the hardness? You calculate those things. Now answer these Viva questions. All of you. Anyone? First question. What is hardness?
Presence of calcium and magnesium ions in water.
Hardness is a characteristic property of water which prevents lather formation in soap solution. It's because of calcium and magnesium ions. Mention the types of hardness.
Permanent and temporary
Permanent
hardness.
and temporary hardness.
Permanent hardness is because of Chlorides and sulfates of calcium and magnesium. Temperature.
Bicarbonate.
Carbonates.
Bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium. Why color changes from violet to blue at the end point of the titration? Why color changes from violet to blue?
Formation of EBT.
Erychrome black tea indicator forms violet colored complex with calcium and magnesium ions. When titrated against standard EDTA solution, so EDTA replaces erychrome black tea from the solution, from the complex, and it sets free. Erychrome black tea is set free, which is blue in color. That's the reason violet color changes to blue. Why hardness is expressed in terms of equivalence of calcium carbonate?
Insoluble in water.
Calcium carbonate is most insoluble in water, and
Molecular weight is
Molecular weight is 100.
its molecular weight is
100.
100. Calculation becomes easier. What are ion exchange resins? Ion exchange resins. What are ion exchange resins? Ion exchange resins are capable of exchanging ions present in solution coming in contact with them. Okay, they are all polymeric compounds which are having capacity to exchange anions and cations. Okay. Mention the type of ion exchange resins types.
Cation and anion.
Cation and
Cation
anion.
and anion exchange resins.
Anion.
Mention the applications of ion exchange resins. Where they are used?
To remove hardness of water.
To remove hardness of water. They are not given here. Anyway, to remove hardness of water, to remove, right, in sugar industry they use. Okay. Main important application is removal of right, water softening. Okay. Mention the right, how to regenerate cation and anion exchange resins.
or HNO3 solution.
Yes. How to regenerate cation exchange resin? Once, okay, all the sites are adsorbed with calcium ions. Okay, you have treated with strong HCl or HNO3. Okay, so the H plus ions again they remove the calcium and magnesium ions and they replace with H plus ions again on the surface. Okay, for anion exchange resin regeneration, you have to use OH minus ions. NaOH you can use 1 molar NaOH. Is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
then wash
sir.
it with
Yes, sir.
water to remove excess ions. Okay. So what are cation and anion exchangers? You know, cation and anion exchangers are capable of exchanging cations. Anion exchangers are capable of exchanging anions. Hope this experiment is clear to you, right?
Yes, sir.
It's theory because it's an experiment. So unless you do it, you don't understand it, right? But at least you understood the theory behind this experiment.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This was too many things which are even not related to your things, okay, in the syllabus, but still I discussed so that you can understand this concept clearly. Okay, we can do the experiment. Okay, we just go through the video how to determine the total hardness of water by complexometric titration. What kind of titration it is? What kind of titration it is? Complexometric titration.
Exometric.
Because we use complexing agent EDTA here.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. I'll stop here. Just a video is there. I'll just see if it opens. Ion exchange process video is there. Okay. So resin is ready to exchange ions from liquid way. cations and anions are attracted by the resin. Okay. They are replaced with calcium, potassium, all these ions are replaced with H plus ions, pH decreases. Then anion exchange resin, anions, right, OH minus ions, they sit on the resin, they come out of the resin, and chloride ions or sulfate ions, they sit on the resin, phosphates and all. Okay. Resin is used to, over the period of time, okay, no more H plus and OH minus ions. Resin has exhausted all the H plus ions or OH minus ions. Resin must be regenerated now. How we do regeneration? So now we add HCl solution. Okay. So more H plus ions. Right. The blue ones are calcium and magnesium ions. The red ones are H plus ions. So the red ones they replace blue ones and green ones. Okay. So everything is replaced now. All H plus ions are sitting on the resin now. And even OH minus ions are sitting on the resin if we use NaOH. Okay. Right? Okay. I'll stop here. Please give your attendance. And all right. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Omkar, Pooja, Sahana, Vinny, Sania. Okay. And your attendance. Sumukh, Chaitanya, Sadh, Yash, Nimish, Samiksha, Chetan, Shreya, Prashant, Chaitanya, Tanishka. Okay. If you have any questions, you can ask me now. Abdullah, Samyak,